Yeah, it's good to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out. I appreciate it.
No worries. No, thank you for getting in contact.
Yes, sir. So I want to begin our conversation with your very busy life by beginning with the question that I know that we all want to move past it, but it was so momentous. How did you survive the pandemic? 4 years ago, we were trying to figure out how it was going to affect us. How did you get through that time period, and how did it change the way that you do things now?
Wow, I mean that's a big question. The pandemic was interesting for me because I was a chief HR officer at the time, working in a financial services business, and the world of the chief HR officer changed very quickly during that time because we had to completely pivot to how we led our people and managed our people. Yeah, that was a really big change for me personally in terms of my job and my career, I suppose, and I'm a highly extroverted person who enjoys being around other people. So I found lockdown, difficult. I wasn't one of those people that sort of had a, really enjoyable lockdown. Um, but I do think that it caused me to reflect on what I was doing with my life, and yeah, I certainly survived it. Probably thrived in some ways in it. But I think it was ultimately the pandemic that caused me to decide to leave my job as a CHRO and start my own business. So I think it was pretty momentous, yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into exactly what you do right now
Hmm.
for like on a daily basis for your career. If I put you in front of a bunch of third grade students at career day, and one of the
Yeah,
kids is curious and says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" What's your answer?
yeah. I help people to be the best version of themselves and reach their full potential. And I do that through a number of different things, but I work with individuals, teams, and businesses to help them to understand what their strengths are, understand where they've got weaker points, and how they can really lean into the discomfort of change and developing themselves so that they can really build confidence to be themselves and be the best version of themselves, whatever that looks like, and be successful in life and work.
How did that happen for you? What was the moment in your life where you felt that discomfort, where you were like, I need to find my true purpose? What was that moment for you?
I think there probably wasn't one moment. I always think that when you're in a career, then you have lots of little things that frustrate you. And on a cumulative basis, they grow and they grow and they grow and they stack up and stack up and stack up on each other. And then one day you decide, well, like, really, what am I doing here? And, is this really what life's all about for me? And, back to the question about the pandemic. I think it was maybe the pandemic that sort of started that because I thought, well, yeah, what am I doing with my life? Um, and so, I was in a position where I was sort of financially stable, supportive home life that I could go and, try something new. And I gave it a go. And I think it built my confidence because now I'm much more resilient to try new things that don't feel very comfortable to me. But I'm better at just trying them now and just get on with it. And if I fail, well, I fail. I'll pick myself up and get on.
So, what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream when you were when at that point? What did you want to grow up and be?
I don't know. I don't really ever think I had one of those. That one of those like, what do I want to be when you grow up? I knew I wanted to do big things, and I knew I wanted to be a success. But I think it's taken me. I'm 45 now. I think it's probably taken me those 45 years to really work out, what it is that really energizes me, and to have the courage to make sure that I'm focusing on those things and sort of creating boundaries about around the things that I don't want to focus on so much.
So, talk to me a little bit about where you were born and raised, and what were these seeds that were planted into you to want to get into these leadership positions, to give of yourself to help people? How did this kind of start and evolve into who you are today?
So I grew up in the northwest of England, a place called well, just on the outskirts of a place called Manchester, which everyone knows of because of the football teams. But it's a great place to grow up. And My parents split up when I was quite young, and but I came from quite a high performing family, I suppose. Like my parents, both very clever, very driven people. And I think I always sort of looked up to that sort of approach to life. I don't know how I built like a passion for helping other people, but that is something that's always energized me. I don't sort of try and explain that in a way that I don't think I'm some sort of martyr. Like I don't think I'm all about other people. There's a reason why I like doing that. It gives something to me. But I think, as I grew up, that was always something that I wanted to do, and I've always had like quite a strong social conscience and so been quite interested in social justice. And I think, yeah, just over time, the people that I hung out with and the stuff that I saw and the people that inspired me were always the ones that, yeah, that liked to get under the skin of what was going on with other people and help them. And I'm quite nosy as well, I think. So I quite like finding out about people. I'm really curious about people and curious about humans and how they interact with each other. And so that's sort of where it came from, I think, to get into helping people.
So speaking of inspirations, who's been that hero for you in your life?
Oh wow. So, like I think, often you think about your parents, and I've got a very, like my mother in particular, very, very driven person, and a great sense of duty, which I think is quite inspiring. I think I've always looked up to people who have given quite selfless service to to the world. People like the classic people like Nelson Mandela and Mother Teresa, people that really dedicated their lives to other people. And I think people also that were brave and went against the grain a little bit. And you think about some of these people saying like the civil rights movement, like Martin Luther King, these brave people that really, stood up when things were very, very uncomfortable. So I think, yeah, people like that have often inspired me. And then closer to home, I've worked with some great leaders and some great coaches and some great mentors who have really inspired me with their insights and their abilities to I suppose just cut through the noise and really get to what's going on.
So if you could meet one of those inspirational people, trailblazers that exist on the planet right now and spend a little time with them, hang out with them, soak up how good they are and what they do, who would that be?
Well, I mean, so there's a guy in the UK, he's a guy called Peter Tatchell, and he's a human rights campaigner, and he has had like some real abuse over the years. He's had like things put, horrible things put through his letterbox. He's been beaten up, but he's done some such brave things. He did a citizen's arrest on Robert Mugabe once in 1999. I'd love to like talk to him about like how does he put that sort of bravery? How does he overcome his fears to be able to do some of those things and to go and protest in some of the places where it's so hostile and he can be subject to violence and abuse? Like how does he really push himself through that discomfort? Because that's not something that I think I can do.
Yeah.
I can maybe do some of it, but nowhere near to that extent. I'd love to know what that superpower looks like and how you put it into practice.
So what was the first client or what was one of your seminal clients where it was difficult, but at the end of it, it was very good. The results were great. Maybe they grew in a way that they didn't expect, or you grew in a way you didn't expect. Was there one of those moments for you?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to identify a particular client,
Sure.
but I've worked with coaching clients where where at the start it's been hard going, like hard yards to build the trust up with people so that they really are prepared to go deep and share their some of their innermost thoughts and innermost demons, so that we can really get to the crux of what's going on. And there's several clients I think that I've done that with where it started off difficult and but yeah, we've had some really magic breakthroughs, and sometimes it's taken quite a lot of hard yards, hard slog of really getting there. I suppose I'm sort of feel like I'm lucky that I've built over time, because I'm curious about people and because I have a lot of thoughts about things. I've built frameworks and I've learned from what's worked well and what hasn't worked so well, so that I can get to some of those deep points quicker through questioning techniques and be and techniques to be curious without being too overbearing, so that people feel like their boundaries are being respected, but at the same time you're really getting to what's going on. Yeah, so probably several in answer to your question.
Yeah. What's the best advice you've ever gotten in your life?
Well, I mean, I'm quite big on quotes, right? There's a great Dolly Parton quote. So she says, find out who you are and do it on purpose. And I think the quicker or the more effort we can really put into a bit of self-reflection and really working out like what's going on for us, like what's making us tick, where are we getting our energy and who's our tribe, who are the people that we want to be around and that are going to really lift us up. And then go and do that stuff on purpose and really find out who they are and lean into the person who you are. I think that's really great advice. And I bring it into coaching people because often people come to coaching because they think they want to change and they want to be a different person. And actually, I want to help them to be more of the person that they are, because that's where people will find their real true success.
So let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into a much younger version, 18-year-old version of you, and you could give that version of you a piece of
Mm,
advice based on this life you've led, the wisdom you've gained. What advice would you impart on your
mm.
young version?
Well, I mean, probably everybody probably would say this, but I tell the younger me to stop worrying about what other people think and start, living your life. I think that the biggest piece of advice that I would give myself is that if it feels difficult and it feels uncomfortable, that's probably where the magic's happening, and that's the bit that you're going to look back on and you're going to be proud of yourself, and that's where you're going to really find really find something and find change and find true transformation in your life and probably true fulfillment. When life's easy, that's not the time they're not the times you look back on actually with the most fondness when life is easy. It's the difficult times that you look back and you think, actually, yeah, I'm really proud of myself about what I did there and how I got through it. So I'd probably say, yeah, see discomfort as a blessing.
Absolutely. So
Mm.
you talked about, being proud of things. What are you the proudest of everything that you've accomplished and evolved into in your life as a professional? And
Mm.
just in general, what are you the proudest of?
I think I'm proud of the big network I've built, of people that I trust and trust me and that I enjoy spending time with and they enjoy spending time with me because I think, when people trust you, that is testament to the effort that you've put into that relationship, and that's testament to delivering on what you said you would deliver, and yeah, and doing and yeah, doing what you said you would do. I'm really proud that I've written a book. So my first book is being published in March next year. It's called People, How to Reach Your Full Potential as a CHRO. And writing a book was something really new. I never thought that I would be an author, but it's something that I pushed myself to do, and I'm really pleased with the outcome. Whether anyone buys it or not, I will be pleased with it. I'll be proud of it. So yeah, so I think that's proud, and I'm proud of the business that I've built. I've not been an entrepreneur for that long, and I think I'm doing a good job of it. And I think it's making me happy, and I think happiness is something to be proud of as well. Because I think sometimes happiness takes work; it just doesn't come always by itself.
Yeah. So, but speaking of books, what was the book for you? One of your favorite books growing up or in
Oh
general?
wow, crikey. Well, I mean, I think my favorite business books, there's probably a couple of them. I like Marshall Goldsmith's What Got You Here Won't Get You There, I think it's called. I'm a big fan of Brene Brown, some of her work. So I think my favorite Brene Brown book is Dare to Lead. Took lots and lots of great stuff from that. And lots of stuff to really really push into to your leadership. And then I think probably the book I would recommend as a coach, like my favorite book, is a book by a guy called Michael Bungay Stanier, who's an American chap. I think he's based in Canada, and he wrote a book called The Coaching Habit, which is a Bible for anybody who wants to be a really great coach.
So, at the end of the day, everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, everyone around you, but you run the show. What's your
Hmm.
perception of you? Who do you think you are? Ah,
Um, yeah. Um, So I think I am friendly. I think I'm knowledgeable. I think I'm confident. I'm sometimes a bit disorganized. I'm a people pleaser. So I sometimes find it hard to say no, probably sometimes say yes to a few too many things, which means that on occasion, perhaps I can't get everything done to the standard that I would like them to be done. But I think, I think I'm trustworthy. I think yeah, I think I'm a good person. And yeah, I'm good. I'm a good person with flaws like everybody else, I would say.
So if anyone wants to pick up your book, they want to hire you, learn more about what you're doing, reach out, any of the good business, what can they do?
They can find me on LinkedIn, so they can find me as Tom Emery on LinkedIn. They can go to my website, which is www.hex-development.com. My book, People, How to Reach Your Full Potential as a CHRO, is available for pre-order on Amazon and other good bookshops. It won't be released, unfortunately, until the 11th of March 20 or March 11th, 2025. But in the meantime, if people want to go to my website and they can sign up to receive a free 32-page guide to my CHRO impact framework, which is what the book is based on. It's a workbook. People can work through it, ask me any questions. Yeah, that's all free. And yeah, hopefully people will enjoy reading that and find it useful.
Absolutely. Tom, this has been great. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your story. Best of luck with the release. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I've loved it. Brilliant.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take care. See you later.
Cheers.